Help you God.
I do.
Please be seated. Please state your name for the record. Spell your first and last names.
Elissa Fleek, Elissafleak.
Good afternoon, Ms. Fleek. Let me provide you with some instructions which I provide to every witness in every case. The first, please sit back and relax. The second, please speak loudly. The third, if you are called upon to provide a yes or no answer to a question, answer yes or no rather than using slang or which can be a little confusing. And lastly, please wait until you hear an entire question before answering it. And that way, we won't have people talking over each other. Is that acceptable?
Yes.
Thank you. Direct by the people, Mr. Walgren.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon, Ms. Fleek.
Hello.
Where do you work?
At the LA County Coroner,
And how long have you worked with the LA County Coroner?
for 8 years.
And what is your position there?
I am a coroner investigator.
Okay, what is a coroner investigator?
A coroner investigator performs death investigations to help determine the cause of death and the mode of death, homicide, suicide, or accident, or natural.
Or what, I'm sorry?
Or natural.
Okay. And what are some of your responsibilities in fulfilling that role?
A coroner investigator performs scene investigations in which you would do, we would perform external body exams of the deceased at the scene. We collect evidence, medical evidence, secure the person's property, notify the family, identify the body, and then complete a report for the pathologist or for the doctors that work in our office to then perform an autopsy and determine cause of death.
Okay. So all these duties you've described are done with the goal of assisting the medical examiner in determining a cause of death?
Correct.
And how long have you been in this position as a coroner investigator?
For 8 years.
And were you working as a coroner investigator on June 25th, 2009?
Yes.
And on that day, did you learn through some means of the reported death of Michael Jackson, the decedent in this case?
Yes, I did.
And when you gained that information, did you respond to the UCLA Medical Center at 5:20 p.m. that day, June 25th, 2009?
Yes.
And what was your purpose in going to UCLA Medical Center on that day?
To examine the deceased and obtain information surrounding the circumstances of his death.
Okay. And when you arrived at UCLA at 5:20 p.m., did you have an opportunity to at least conduct a cursory examination of the decedent, Michael Jackson?
Yes, I did.
And where did that take place?
In one of the private emergency rooms, rooms in the emergency room at UCLA.
And at that time, did you document the physical condition of the decedent?
Yes, I did.
And through both notes and photographs?
Yes.
You know, I have a photograph of Mr. Michael Jackson laying on a gurney. May this be marked Peoples 98 for identification.
Yes.
We will renew our objection to this photograph, Judge.
Ruled.
May we dim the lights momentarily?
Yes, please.
Ms. Fleek, looking at Peoples 98, is this a photograph you took of Mr. Jackson on June 25th in this private room you've described at UCLA?
Yes, it is.
And in your examination of Mr. Jackson at this preliminary stage, what were you looking for as it relates to cause of death?
Any sort of external wounds, anything that would indicate what his cause of death is, injuries, anything to signal a cause of death.
Okay. And upon your review of Mr. Jackson at this time, as reflected in Peoples 98, did you observe any signs of trauma or any obvious signs that would help you or the deputy medical examiner determine a cause of death?
No.
And to be fair, this is simply a representative photograph. However, there are additional photographs taken at this time?
Correct. That was the initial photograph, the very first photograph I took when I first walked into the room and saw him. But
okay. And at that time you observed the decedent in a clothed manner as depicted in People's 98 as well as in an unclothed manner?
Yes.
Okay. And after making those observations, you concluded there was no obvious trauma or cause of death that you could ascertain?
Right.
Okay.
Exhibit's been removed.
Now, while at UCLA, did you, in the company of Ed Winter, another coroner investigator, collect 4 vials of blood that were taken at the time of the emergency treatment at UCLA?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And you collected the 4 vials of blood taken from the decedent bearing a particular patient identification number?
Yes.
Okay. And that was 3975944?
Correct.
Okay. And you took custody of those 4 vials of blood and subsequently turned them in to the coroner's office?
Yes, I checked them into our laboratory.
Okay. And that was for purposes of future toxicology testing?
Yes.
Now, on June 25th, at about 7:10 p.m., did you go to the location of 100 North Carrollwood in Los Angeles County?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the purpose of you going to 100 North Carrollwood?
To perform a scene investigation of where the person died.
And that person being Michael Jackson?
Yes.
And when you arrived at the location, is that what you did?
Yes.
Okay. I want to show you a few photographs. Starting with some photographs that have already been moved into evidence. Equals 21 for identification. Do you recognize that as the bedroom, looking into the bedroom where the decedent died?
Yes.
Okay. And was this room the focus of your scene investigation when you went to the house on June 25th?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And showing you People's 22 for identification. Do you recognize that as another view of the same room?
Yes.
And moving to People's 23. Do you recognize what is shown there, Ms. Lee?
Yes, that is the bed where he was reportedly found, and the chair and tables next to the bed.
Okay. Now, are you familiar with the general layout of the home as it relates to this room in particular and the kind of the immediate surrounding area?
Yes.
Okay. Showing you what was earlier marked People's 19 for identification. Do you recognize what is shown in this diagram? Can we dim the lights, Your Honor?
May we, please?
Do you see that, Ms. Fleet?
Yes,
Okay, do you recognize what's shown there?
I do.
And thanks. Looking at People's 19, do you recognize where I'm pointing here where it says second floor bedroom number 2? You recognize this white rectangular area as the bed that you previously identified in the photographs?
Yes.
Okay. And there's a foyer coming into the bedroom as well as a large closet on the diagram to the right of the bedroom and then eventually leading into a bathroom. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. Looking at the diagram, there's also an additional bedroom to the left of the diagram where I'm pointing on this diagram, simply showing the doorway and entry area into that bedroom. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, on this day of June 25th, 2009, was your scene investigation focused on bedroom 2 that you've already identified, or this bedroom which would be to the left of People's 19?
Focused on bedroom 2.
Now, in your initial scene investigation of this room, did you locate on the floor a 20 milliliter bottle of propofol?
Yes, I did.
And where was that located?
On the floor next to the bed, the left side of the bed.
We're going to have a series of photographs. They are part of discovery, showing different vantage points of a propofol bottle lying on the floor. May these be marked, 3 photographs be marked People's 99, 100, and 101?
Yes.
Showing them to defense counsel. Ms. Fleek, just to orient us, as you look at People's 23, do you see in People's 23 to the side of the decedent's bed there is a wood side table and then appears to be a glass and metal table with a lamp on it in the photograph, which is to the left of the wood side table. Do you see that?
Yes.
And is it under this general area of this metal and glass table that I'm pointing out that has the lamp on it, under that is where you found the 20 milliliter propofol bottle?
Correct.
Showing you what I just said, marked People's 99 for identification. Does that, at the lower portion of People's 99, show what I described as a glass and metal table and show the 20 milliliter propofol bottle on the floor?
Yes.
Okay. And People's 100, again, is that simply a bit more of a close-up view of that same item?
Yes.
And lastly, People's 101, is that again a close-up of the same bottle being this smaller size 20 milliliter bottle of propofol?
Yes.
May we turn on the lights?
Please, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And let me ask you, Ms. Fleek, while we go through some of the evidence that was recovered, was this evidence initially recovered by you as a coroner's investigator, because at that stage this was a death investigation by the coroner's office?
Correct.
Okay. And subsequently it was custody of these items was transferred to LAPD and booked into LAPD evidence and given LAPD evidence item numbers?
Right.
Okay. And have you had the opportunity to review the evidence item numbers to be able to make reference to both the LAPD evidence item number as well as the item that you recovered and took into coroner's custody?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And certainly at any time, if you need to refer to your notes, please let us know.
Okay.
I have here an LAPD evidence item number 140. And Ms. Fleek, I'm going to ask you, is this item, evidence item LAPD 140, the small propofol bottle that you recovered as reflected in People's 101 on the floor?
I do have to check my notes for the numbers.
Please.
Yes, it was 140.
Okay. And I have a 20 milliliter propofol bottle, concentration being 200 milligram per 20 milliliter. May this be marked People's 102 for identification?
It is marked, yes.
I'm placing a 102 on the label of this item. Ms. Fleek, showing you what is now People's 102. In your review of the notes and your review of what was recovered and compared to then what was booked with LAPD, this is the item then that was recovered from the floor?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And was it empty but for some drops of fluid as it is here today?
Correct.
Did you also recover an empty bottle of flumazenil in the same general area?
Yes.
Okay. And have you had an opportunity to review the evidence and determine the evidence item number and determine that that item was booked as LAPD evidence item 141?
Yes.
I'm cutting open bag bearing LAPD item number 141, Your Honor. Removing a 5 milliliter bottle of flumazenil. May this be marked 103 for identification?
Yes.
I'm placing a 103 on the label. This week, can you see what's shown on the...
Yes, I can.
Okay. And is this the item you recovered on the floor near the nightstand area on June 25th, 2009?
Yes, it is.
And it has a very small amount of liquid on the bottom, about 90% empty. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Did you also recover prescription medications from the same general area that we're referring to near the nightstand by Mr. Jackson's bed?
Yes, I collected prescription medications from the tables, the
Okay.
nightstands next to the bed.
Okay. I have an exhibit showing a close-up of the nightstand area. May this be marked? Is it People's 104?
Correct.
I understand that the quality of this photo with the lighting is washed out. I'm going to approach you with the photograph. On the nightstand, and I'm going to approach the witness. People's 104 from the nightstand area. And I'm referencing these. Where I'm pointing this week, are these 3 prescription bottles?
Yes.
Okay. And was that a diazepam, a lorazepam, and Flomax, respectively?
Yes, it is.
That photo is 104. And going to those three items, first of all, the diazepam, which was booked as LAPD item 153. Let me recover these. Your Honor, I have in my hand a prescription pill bottle made out to the name of Michael Jackson, showing diazepam, 10 milligram tablet, prescriber being a Conrad Robert Murray, with a date of June 20th, 2009. May that item be marked Peoples 105 for identification.
Yes.
I'm going to write 105 on the label. I also have a prescription pill bottle, Flomax, 0.4 milligram, made out to a Michael Jackson. This is LAPD item 157. Prescriber being Conrad Murray. Date filled being June 3rd, 2009. May this be marked Peoples 106, Your Honor.
It is.
Placing a 106 on the label. And lastly, of these three, I have a prescription pill bottle of lorazepam, 2 milligram, prescriber being Conrad Murray, date filled April 28th, 2009. May this be marked Peoples 107 for identification.
Yes.
Placing a 107 on the label. And this item was LAPD number 154. Ms. Fleet, these three items shown here on the Elmo, the diazepam, the Flomax, and the lorazepam, are these the three prescription pill bottles that you've identified in Peoples 104, the three lined up on the wooden nightstand?
Yes, they are.
Now, in that same photograph, Peoples 104, in this photograph depicting the nightstand, Ms. Fleet, you've indicated the three prescription pill bottles, the diazepam, the Flomax, and the lorazepam. On the lower shelf of this wooden nightstand, is this a kind of a wicker basket?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And did you find additional prescription medicines in this basket?
Yes.
Okay. And in that basket, did you find clonazepam?
Yes.
As well as temazepam,
Yes.
tizanidine,
Yes.
and trazodone?
Correct.
Your Honor, I have LAPD evidence item 151, opening the bag, the seal. This is a prescription made out to Michael Jackson. Temazepam, 30 milligram, prescriber being Conrad Murray. A date filled being 12/22/2008. May this be marked Peoples 108 for identification?
Yes.
I also have LAPD evidence item 152, opening the packaging. Prescription pill bottle made out to Omar Arnold. Tizanidine. Prescriber being Dr. Arnold Klein. With a date filled of 6/7/2009. May that be marked Peoples 109 for identification?
Yes.
I have LAPD evidence item 156, opening the package. This being prescription made out to Mick Jackson, clonazepam, 1 milligram tablet, prescriber being a Dr. Alan Metzger, date filled being April 18th, 2009. May that be marked Peoples 110 for identification?
Yes.
And I have a LAPD evidence item 155, again opening the evidence bag. This being a prescription made out to a Mick Jackson, trazodone, 50 milligram tablet, prescriber being a Dr. Alan Metzger, with a date filled being April 18th, 2009. May this be marked Peoples 111 for identification?
It is.
Ms. Sleek, these four items I've just gone through, Peoples 108, 109, 110, and 111, being the temazepam, tizanidine, clonazepam, and trazodone, respectively. Were these four prescription pills containers found in that wicker basket on the wooden nightstand that you've described?
Yes, they were.
Did you also, in that same location, again, I'm referencing the wicker basket shown in the lower shelf of that wooden nightstand, did you recover a number of tubes of various lotions?
Yes.
Okay. I have an opened evidence bag, Your Honor, going through individually LAPD evidence item 145 is a hydroquinone 8% with the name of Applied Pharmacy Services on it. May this be marked Peoples 112 for identification?
Yes.
Where's my Sharpie? Placing a P112. I also have LAPD evidence item 146, Phenoquin 20% with the pharmacy being Applied Pharmacy Services. May this be marked Peoples 113 for identification.
Yes.
And I have a lidocaine 4% obtained from Applied Pharmacy Services. The doctor's name being Murray-MD Conrad with an address on Flamingo Road. Again, LAPD evidence 147. May this be marked Peoples 114 for identification.
Yes.
Ms. Fleek, these three various tubes I've identified, were these recovered from the nightstand, the wooden nightstand we've discussed?
Yes.
Now, was there also an oxygen tank that you observed at the location on June 25th, 2009?
Yes, I observed several oxygen tanks.
Okay, but was there one actually on a rolling dolly near the bed?
Yes.
Okay. I have a photograph depicting what appears to be an oxygen tank on a rolling dolly. Same picture showing an ambu bag on the floor. May this be marked Peoples 115 for identification, Your Honor?
It is.
Showing you this exhibit, Ms. Fleet. Looking to the right of that photograph, is this the oxygen tank on this handle dolly with wheels?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And then you see this ambu bag on the floor, kind of near the metal and glass nightstand you referenced previously?
Yes.
Okay. And is that as it appeared on June 25th, 2009?
Yes, it is.
Going back to the nightstand area, I have a close-up of the glass and metal tabletop. May this be marked Peoples 116 for identification,
Yes.
as well as a close-up of a 10 cc syringe on the same table. May that be marked as Peoples 117 for identification.
Yes.
First showing you what's been marked as Peoples 116, Ms. Fleet. Can we dim the lights for a moment, Your Honor?
Please.
This tube here, Ms. Fleek, is that the lidocaine that you just had testified to as being found in this area?
Yes.
Okay. And we have on this glass tabletop, do you recognize some of the items shown there?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And do you have a pointer up there with you?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Looking at the photograph here to the left, are these alcohol prep pads?
Correct.
Okay. And this Gelco box, are those IV catheters?
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell this box here, I think it's labeled QMS or CMS. Do you know what that is? On the right, upper right of that tabletop?
I believe that's The alcohol pads, I can't see in this
Okay.
photograph.
Could they have been latex gloves?
Yes, there was also some gloves at the scene.
Okay. On this same tabletop, but from a different vantage point, and let me orient you if I can. You see this empty naked juice bottle?
Yes.
And then these alcohol prep pads that I'm pointing to?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the next photograph I'm going to be referencing behind these items in the area I'm pointing with the red pointer, People's 117. In this photograph, do you see the back of that juice bottle as well as to the right of the photograph the alcohol prep pads?
Yes.
Okay. And a 10 cc syringe?
Yes.
Okay. And in this photograph, the syringe does not have a needle attached to it. Is that how you found it, without a needle?
Right.
Okay. And was this particular syringe recovered and subsequently booked and referenced as coroner's medical evidence number 1?
Yes, it was.
And I have evidence, LAPD evidence item 142, 10 cc syringe. May this be marked as People's 118 for identification?
Yes.
And I'm going to leave this item in its plastic bag. I'm placing a P118 on the outside. And Ms. Fleek, do you recognize People's 118 here in the plastic bag? It's turned around, but as being the same item?
Yes.
Okay. Now, going back to the ambu bag that you had identified in People's 115, did you locate what you subsequently learned to be an IV catheter underneath that ambu bag?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And looking at People's 115, is that depicted here where I'm pointing? Although blurred, it would be to the left of the ambu bag as depicted in the photograph?
Yes.
Okay. I have a close-up of that same photograph, Your Honor. May that close-up be marked as People's 120, or excuse me, 119?
Yes.
Showing you this close-up, People's 119. Does that depict the IV catheter that you found underneath the ambu bag?
Yes, it does.
And are you aware from your review of the evidence that that was subsequently booked into LAPD as LAPD evidence item 143?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a LAPD evidence item 143 in a Sharpie container. I'm going to leave it in the container. May this be marked People's 120 for identification?
It is.
When this item was recovered, Ms. Fleek, was it as depicted in People's 119 with the IV catheter needle uncovered and exposed as it is in the photograph?
Correct.
Okay. Was it subsequently capped with a plastic cap and placed into this plastic tubing that is shown on the OMA?
Yes.
Did you also recover during this same search in the same area some medical, various medical supplies and needles?
Yes.
In Peoples 104, again, showing where the prescription medicine bottles were recovered. This Bayer aspirin bottle, that was recovered by you?
Yes, it was.
Okay, and that's LAPD evidence item 150. I'm going to leave that in its plastic bag. May that be marked Peoples 120 for identification, Your Honor?
121.
I'm sorry, Peoples 121.
Yes.
Placing a P121 on the plastic bag. This was recovered by you and taken into coroner's custody?
Yes, it was.
Also in this picture, again, although somewhat washed out, where I'm pointing in the photograph, which would be to the left of the wicker basket, is this a box of lotion?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and did you recover that?
Yes.
I have LAPD evidence item 148, Your Honor. A box of Anthelios lotion. May this be marked Peoples 122 for identification?
Yes. Could you spell that name, please?
Anthelios.
Thank you.
And that is, again, Peoples 122.
Yes.
Going to Peoples 116, Ms. Fleet. Again, the photograph's washed out, but to the left of the photograph behind the alcohol prep pads, is this a box of syringes that I'm pointing to?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And actually referred to on the box as XL hypodermic disposable needles booked into LAPD as item 149?
Correct.
Okay. May this be marked Peoples 123, Your Honor?
It is.
And in that same photograph, Ms. Fleek, Peoples 116, the item you previously identified as the Gelco IV catheters, do you know that to have been booked into LAPD evidence as item 158?
Yes.
Okay. May this be collectively marked as Peoples 124, Your Honor?
Yes.
I have a photograph, the same room, different vantage point, Your Honor, showing a wooden chair with pads and what appears to be a jug of urine sitting on the chair. May this be marked Peoples 125 for identification?
Marked.
Ms. Fleek, showing you what was earlier marked Peoples 25. May we dim the lights?
Yes.
In Peoples 25, Ms. Fleek, just to orient ourselves, to the right of Peoples 25, do you see this wooden chair that I'm pointing to that has a jug of urine and some pads next to it seated on the chair?
Yes.
Okay. And in this same photograph, to the left of this photograph, is an IV pole with a hanging saline bag and also IV tubing draped over that IV pole. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And you see, as I've zoomed in on People's 25, again, the saline bag as well as the tubing draped over the pole and coming down to the bottommost portion of that photograph?
Yes.
And going then to People's 125, showing a close-up. Is this the jug of urine as you found it on June 25th, 2009, next to it being some medical pads?
Yes.
Okay. Now the IV stand as depicted and previously shown to you in People's 25, was that saline bag and IV tubing recovered on that day or a subsequent day?
A subsequent day.
Okay. Did you observe it on that day of June 25th, 2009?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And was the jug of urine and the previously described evidence items, was that all recovered on that day of June 25th, 2009?
Yes.
Did you then return, well, did you depart the location sometime that night on June 25th, 2009?
Yes.
Do you know what time approximately? We could have the lights, please, Your Honor.
At 2020.
2020, 8:20 p.m.?
Yes, approximately. Yes.
And did you return to the location on June 29th, 2009?
Yes.
And that was following an interview of the defendant and a subsequent search to locate medical bags?
To search for further medical evidence, yes.
Okay.
I didn't catch it. On what date did you return?
6/29/2009.
And that's you personally, correct?
Yes.
Okay. There was a search conducted on 6/26/2009 for which you were not present?
Right.
Now, did you go to a particular location in the residence on 6/29/2009? Did you go to a particular location within the house?
The same bedroom number 2.
Okay.
And also the room directly, large closet room attached to it.
And showing you People's 19. When you say the large closet attached to it, in People's 19, if this bed I'm pointing to, the white rectangle, represents where Michael Jackson was found by paramedics, is this closet would be to the right of the diagram?
Yes.
Okay, and how would you describe that room?
It's a large room lined with wooden cabinets almost to the ceiling, filled with clothing and shoes.
I have 2 photographs of this closet area, Your Honor. May these be marked People's 126 and 127, respectively?
Yes.
May we give them the lights, please? Please. Ms. Fleet, looking at what's been identified as People's 126, from this vantage point, where I'm pointing here with this archway, is this looking into the bedroom that we've identified as bedroom number 2?
Yes.
Okay. And so if you were to walk from bedroom number 2, where Michael Jackson was found, you would come through this archway into this large room or closet area?
Correct.
Okay. And looking then, as you come into the room, and if you were to come into the room and turn right, this large wooden closet in People's 126, this uppermost cabinet, does that depict where you centered your search on June 29th, 2009?
Yes, it is.
And looking at People's 127, does that depict the same upper cabinetry area with the doors open, depicting items you recovered?
Yes.
Okay. And zooming into that upper cabinet then, does this include 3 separate bags that were recovered by you on that date?
Yes.
And lastly, if I could, a close-up of that same area, Your Honor, if I could have it marked People's 128 for identification.
Yes.
Looking at People's 128, Ms. Fleek, is that the same area from a different vantage point with a bit more of a close-up?
Yes.
I have a photograph of various bags and lotions and gloves laid out on a table. May this be marked People's 129 for identification.
Yes.
Ms. Fleek, were the items subsequently removed from this cabinet area and laid out on a nearby table for purposes of documenting them?
Yes, they were.
Showing you People's 129. Looking at that photograph and going from left to right, is this a small black bag that was recovered in the cabinet area you've described?
Yes.
And going then to the right, this is a larger blue Costco bag?
Yes.
A light blue and brown bag labeled Baby Essentials?
Correct.
Okay. And apparently a box of gloves, another box, and 2 large bags of tubes of various lotions?
Yes.
You're going to have a black canvas bag. Booked into LAPD custody as evidence item 104. May this be marked People's 130 for identification?
It is.
And it is solid black, Your Honor. There's nowhere really to write on the bag, but the black small bag, People's 130.
Thank you.
Now, did you recover this black bag and recover the contents from that black bag on June 29th, Ms. Fleet?
Yes.
Okay. And inside of that black bag, did you recover what was earlier marked People's 181, which had been LAPD item 105, this Starline blood pressure cuff?
Yes.
I may have misheard. I thought I heard you say People's 181.
People's 81, I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Okay.
Previously marked, it's People's 81.
I may have misheard. Thank you.
Was the blood pressure cuff, as it is here in court, inside of this small black bag, which was inside of this Starline cardboard box?
Yes, it was.
And was this Starline cardboard box then inside of People's 130?
Yes.
I have a photograph, Your Honor, depicting the black bag and its internal contents. May that be marked People's 131 for identification?
Yes.
Ms. Leak, do you recognize that photograph as being the black bag with the blood pressure cuff in its box inside of it? And
Yes.
I can bring the photograph to you.
Yes, I recognize that.
Okay. You see the star line on the box there?
Yes.
And inside of that bag, you also recovered 3 bottles of lidocaine?
Correct.
And those had been booked into LAPD custody of respectively 2 bottles being LAPD item 113 and 1 bottle being LAPD item 114?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have 2 bottles of lidocaine 1%, 10 milligram per milliliter, and labeled as LAPD evidence item 113. I additionally have same size bottle, 1% lidocaine, previously labeled LAPD item 114. May these 3 bottles collectively be marked People's 132 for identification?
Yes.
I'm going to place a P132 on each bottle. Ms. Fleet, showing you what's been marked as now as People's 132. 2 of these bottles are essentially empty, and 1 is a little more than half full. Is that accurate, roughly accurate?
Yes.
Okay. And is that as they were when you recovered them inside the black bag?
Yes.
Going then to the blue Costco bag. You're going to have a large blue Costco bag with two straps labeled Costco Wholesale. May this bag be marked People's 133 for identification?
Yes.
I'm going to place a P133 on the outside of the bag itself. Ms. Fleek, showing you People's 133, is this the blue Costco bag that was recovered from the cabinet you've already mentioned?
Yes, it is.
And did you then inventory the contents as to the medical supplies inside of this bag?
Yes.
The exhibit's being shown to Mr. Chernoff.
I have two photographs in relation to People's 133, Your Honor. First one is a picture of the bag being held open by an individual next to the black bag previously mentioned. May that be marked People's 134 for identification?
Yes.
As well as a close-up of the inside of the same blue Costco bag. May that be marked People's 135 for identification?
Yes.
Ms. Fleek, showing you first People's 134. Does that depict the blue Costco bag next to the smaller black bag as it was recovered on June 29th?
Yes.
May we dim the lights, Your Honor?
If I may.
Showing you People's 135. Does this show the inside contents of that same bag?
It does.
Okay. And again, although it's washed out on this projector, does this show, among other things, the pulse oximeter and the lanyard inside of that bag?
Yes.
Okay. And some various vials?
Yes.
Okay. As well as what I'm pointing at here, is this white area in the picture, although it shows up on the actual photograph, is that like a plastic grocery bag, like the two-handled plastic grocery bags we see commonly?
Yes.
Okay. Was that actual plastic bag booked into evidence?
No.
Okay. But you took this photograph to document it on that day?
Yes.
Now, going through the contents of the blue Costco bag, inside of the blue Costco bag, did you find a cut open saline bag?
Yes, I did.
Within which was a 100 milliliter bottle of propofol?
Leading.
Sustained.
Leading.
Did you find a saline bag inside of the blue Costco bag?
Yes.
And what was its condition?
It had a cut in it, and there was a 100 milliliter vial of propofol inside the saline bag.
Okay. And the saline bag in question, from your review of the evidence, are you aware that that was subsequently booked into LAPD custody as LAPD evidence item 110?
Yes.
And previously marked, in this case, as People's 29. Holding that up, do you see the cut in that bag, Ms. Fleek?
Yes, I do.
And is that as it was when you recovered it on June 29, 2009?
Yes, it is.
And the 100 milliliter bottle of propofol, was that bottle booked into LAPD evidence as item 106?
Yes.
Okay. Previously marked as People's 130. Ms. Fleek, then was this People's 130 was inside of and contained within People's 110 when you recovered it?
Yes.
Or excuse me, that's LAPD 110, People's 29. People's 30 was inside of People's 29 when you recovered it?
Yes.
Maybe I misheard. I thought reference was made to People's 130, or is it 30?
People's 30. previously marked, Your Honor.
I think both Mrs. McNeil and I heard people's 130.
Okay, it's a lot of numbers. I may have.
I sure understand that.
Okay.
So you want to re-ask it so we're all clear?
Yes. LAPD item 106, which is People's 30. Let me just be clear what I'm talking about. And LAPD item 110, which is People's 29. Those were recovered inside the blue Costco bag?
Yes, they were.
Okay. And when you recovered People's 29, the cut open saline bag, was People's 30, the 100 milliliter bottle of propofol, inside of People's 29?
Yes.
And did you remove People's 30 from People's 29 for purposes of photographing the two items?
Yes.
And showing you what was earlier marked People's 28 for identification. May we dim the lights, Your Honor?
Please.
And I don't know if you can see from that vantage point, Ms. Fleek, but do you see the cut in the bag as shown in People's 28 where I'm pointing?
It's hard to see in that photo.
Okay, may I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Certainly.
Maybe harder over here, but
We can turn on the lights for the benefit of Ms. Lee.
It's more clear in the photo that I'm observing here.
looking at People's 28, do you see the cut in the bag?
Yes.
Okay, and is that as it appeared on June 29th?
Yes, it is.
And this 100 milliliter propofol bottle, was it empty, more or less empty as it's shown in this photograph?
Yes.
Okay. And again, with some liquid at the very bottom, is that accurate?
Yes.
We could have the lights, please.
Surely.
In that same Costco bag, did you recover a 20 milliliter bottle of propofol as reflected in your inventory?
Yes, I did.
And from your review of the evidence, you're aware that that was LAPD item 107?
Yes.
I have LAPD item 107 being a 20 milliliter bottle of propofol. I'm opening the bag. Has been previously labeled LAPD 107. May this be marked People's 136 for identification?
Yes.
I'm writing P136 on the glass. Ms. Fleek, referencing People's 136, essentially an empty 20 milliliter propofol bottle, was this found within the blue Costco bag?
Yes, it was.
I have evidence item LAPD evidence item 109, Your Honor. Opening the bag, it is a 10 milliliter vial of lorazepam, previously labeled 109. May this be marked People's 137 for identification?
Yes.
placing a P137 on the bottom. Ms. Fleek, this 10 milliliter vial with a concentration of 4 milligram per milliliter, was this found inside the blue Costco bag?
Yes, it was.
I have LAPD evidence item 108, Your Honor. Opening the bag. 2 individual bottles of midazolam, each 10 milliliter in size with a concentration of 10 milligram per 10 milliliter. Previously marked LAPD items 108 collectively. May these collectively be marked 130, People's 138 for identification?
Yes.
Placing a P138 on each vial. Ms. Fleek, referring collectively to People's 138, the 2 vials of midazolam, were these recovered from the blue Costco bag?
Yes.
Mr. Walgren, at a convenient time, you let me know for purposes of the mid-afternoon break.
This is great, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let us take the mid-afternoon break. Of course, remember all the admonitions, whether in writing or verbally. We'll be in recess for approximately 15 minutes, so we'll see you at 3 p.m. Thank you. And Ms. Fleek,